you through this. And as you rightly said, there have been a lot of eminent speakers who have preceded me, and I think I have big boots to fill here, and I'm going to try my best to ensure that I don't leave any of you disappointed. So this field of science in consumerism is a very, very vast field. And I don't think we will be able to do justice in an hour to cover all the content that we are talking about here. So I'm going to do my best to share with you my perspective through the 23 years of my career, what I have learned. And I would just impart my learnings to you as well. And for the sake of this next 1 hour, I'd like for us to be more interactive, and this is not meant to be a monologue by any standard. So I'd love to get your thoughts at various stages of this presentation as well. So before we delve into the presentation itself, I thought I'll start off by just giving you a little bit about myself. My background is largely been in the space of data and analytics. So I have lived in Mumbai. I've been born and raised in Mumbai. And like every other child who was born in the 70s and the 80s, my dream was to actually get into engineering. And for very valid reasons, I did not pursue that career. And I thought I should probably do the next best, which was mathematics. And that was the next love that I have. And I started off studying math. And very soon I realized that I actually have a passion for statistics more than mathematics. And I pursued my post-graduation in applied statistics from University of Mumbai. Once I finished my post-graduation, I took up a job with Indian Market Research Bureau. Indian Market Research Bureau, now it's called Kantar, is a firm that used to do primary research. And if you can, for all of us who have been here for a long, long time, not the millennials, you would know we used to get a lot of surveys, people coming at our doors, asking us to fill out surveys. What do you like about the brand? What do you not like about the brand? And so on and so forth. So IMRB used to be a company that used to run these surveys, collect the information, synthesize the information, and then share it back with the manufacturers as to what they can learn about their brands from consumers. From there, after serving 1 year with IMRB, I moved to GE Capital. And I did a lot of statistical analytics type of roles with GE Capital in their business segments, ranging from appliances to aircraft engines. It was all about leveraging my applied statistics knowledge and working with the business and bringing science to life there. Post working with GE Capital, I transitioned to a company called IRI and Analytic Partners. Both are marketing consulting firms, and both of these took me to different parts of the globe. I worked in the US, I worked in Singapore. So I worked with a lot of different manufacturing companies in developed markets, in developing markets, developed a lot of understanding of data, data sources, consumers in different markets, the cultural landscape, and so on and so forth. Post that, I returned to India and joined a company called General Mills. For the uninitiated, General Mills is the company that manufactures Pillsbury. General Mills is a global company headquartered in the United States, and Pillsbury is their largest line in India, product line in India. And I worked for them for about 10 years in the area of sales and trade capabilities, which I moved to PepsiCo. And at PepsiCo, I lead the marketing and insights function in PepsiCo. What do I really do at PepsiCo is something that you will try and uncover over the next couple of slides, which will really be talking about what type of work do we do there and how does it impact our day-to-day lives as well. Apart from my professional life, I am an avid traveler. I also love to trek, and I'm into a lot of adventure sports. And I also indulge in competitive badminton and cricket at corporate levels. So that's me on a personal note as well. So before we get into the topic itself, let's get some of our concepts clear. So I'd love for this segment to be interactive. So who is a consumer? Who do we think is a consumer? You can put it on the chat, you can unmute yourself and talk about it here as well. Would love to hear your thoughts. When I say consumer, what comes to mind? Or who comes to mind?
Consumer is a buyer who uses the product.
Consumer is someone who consumes the product, as the name goes, right? Someone who consumes the product. So who is a shopper?
Not necessarily a consumer.
Not necessarily a consumer, right? So in a traditional Indian household, you would typically think either the mother or the father takes the role of a shopper who goes into the shop, buys for the entire household, may or may not necessarily consume the products that they buy in the shop, right? A consumer is a shopper, but not necessarily a shopper of all the products that they consume. But a shopper is someone who would more often than not consume the product that they buy as well. So clearly, in the terms of marketing, there are different roles, if you see, there are different personas, right? There is a consumer who you need to understand, who is really the end consumer of your product, who's the one who you're trying to appeal in terms of your product. But I may or may not be directly selling to a consumer. I'm actually selling it to the shopper because it's the shopper I need to influence to buy my product and not necessarily the consumer all the time. And the last bit is, who's a customer? And this might be a little tricky one because this is very unique to the marketing and the manufacturing world in itself. A customer is really someone who's the interface, right? Large manufacturing companies do not do B2B. That is, they do not do direct customer engagement. They do not do B2C. They do not do business to consumer. They do business to business and then the consumer. So in our terms, think of it like the DMarts of our world. They are the customers to large manufacturing companies. So PepsiCo is a large manufacturing company that manufactures products. They sell it to the consumers through the customer. The customer is the interface who we use to put our products on shelf. And we as shoppers go there to buy the products and then we consume those products as well. So these are three very key terms and very key personas that are very important to understand because this is what forms the crux of how we market, right? And what is in it for me then in the end? So if I put this picture in front of you, you are a shopper who's in a store. What is the prime criteria based on which you make a purchase? What do you think when you're making a purchase? What are some of the factors that helps you choose what you want, helps you decide what you want?
The usefulness, the price,
utility,
appearance,
our needs, wants, desires.
Yeah, needs, want, desire. But if you were in the store and you saw two products that look identical, how do you make a choice?
I might also
depending upon the brand, I would choose a particular brand.
Choose a brand.
Of my choice, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might also be attracted to something which is being bought by many people.
Fair enough. You're seeing someone in the store and you want to try out what they are picking up. Anything else that comes to mind that will drive you to make a purchase?
Attractive looking.
Excellent.
Brand which we know.
Experimenting with a newer product for all you know.
Experiment with new products. Fantastic. Awesome. So
it will also depend upon the extent of marketing, advertising they have done. If it is a FMCG product, then I would really go in and try for a newer one. If the advertising was so extensive and that has impacted the mind of the consumer, then of course you can give it a try. Like,
fantastic.
If it is yeah.
You've done more than half of my job here already. So chugging along, right? These are exactly the reasons why we are in store and why we make a choice in a store to buy, right? What is the product? Like Smita said, what is the product? Is it a product that I know? Is it a product that I want? It is so important that we actually get to buy a product. Companies put products that consumers want to buy. They don't just put products that are there for the sake of it. Am I going to get the product? Is this a product that the consumer truly wants? Is number one. So when you think of a decision wheel of why would a shopper or a consumer make a decision to buy a product, number one is it a product that I truly want? Is this a product that is required in my portfolio? That's number one. Second is price. What is the value for money? Am I going to pay through my nose to get a particular product? Or do I want a certain value that I will pay for a certain product as well? So it is price is the second important component. Someone spoke about packaging. Someone spoke about look and feel, right? There is a whole science behind placement of products in a store. And if you go to a modern trade store, which is what the current DMarts of the world are, you would see that the aisles are stocked in a certain fashion. Kid products are always kept at the lower bottom, just because kids are lower in height, lesser in height. So they need to be able to reach out and pick up for indulgent buying and then push it to the mother and say, I want this product. I want you to give me this. So when you walk into a store and if you really pay attention, you would see that there is a certain pattern to which how products are stocked. One is the placement in terms of eye level for products, below the eye level, above the eye level. Second is adjacencies. If I have chips or if I have snack category, what do I want next to it? Do I want a toothpaste next to it? Or do I want a juice category next to it or a soda category next to it? Because someone who's picking up a chip is more likely to go and pick up a soda along with it as well, right? So adjacencies is what we call it. So there's a whole lot of science behind how that shelf is even designed. How many facings do you see of a certain product? How much depth do you want in a certain product and so on and so forth. So placement is one big criteria, which we don't realize as a normal shopper that it plays on our psyche, but it actually does because you get to see what they want to show us basically, right? So placement is a very, very big philosophy in marketing as well. And the last piece is promotion. What am I running in the store? Someone spoke about it. I think, Malti, you said, I'm looking at what others are buying and might be something else is on discount. And hence I want to actually try out that product because I'm paying 10 rupees for this and I'm getting that for 5. And I'm like, why not? Why not try it out? So promotion is another key lever to drive purchase in the store at the point of purchase as well. So if you think of the decision wheel, and if you think of the 4 key principles of marketing, it's product, price, placement, and promotion. These are all the marketing strategies will largely be centered around these 4 principles, largely. So moving along, and I'll definitely reserve some time for Q&A in the end, and we can go back to slides as required as well. So if we really think of all the philosophy, why do we need to market products? Why is marketing so important? And I think, Smita, you answered that a little bit in the previous commentary as well, is why do companies want to do advertising? Why do companies want to put so much money into trying to market their product?
To face the competition of their of the competitors, right? To find a place in the market, and marketing should be so strong that selling should become unnecessary. Like, so in that context, marketing to advertising and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. You know, we are spoiled for choices. There are n number of manufacturers who are manufacturing similar products, and sometimes the price is the difference. Sometimes something else is the difference. Brand awareness is one very, very important reason why marketing is required. The marketeers spend all the money in trying to differentiate their brand from another brand, right? And talk about why is this brand better than any other brand? And at the point of recall, when you're asked the question, do you recall the brand? Do you recall where I'm just putting you on the spot and saying, can you tell me the first chips that you like? And does my brand come top of mind? That is why marketing is so important. Marketing is important to create brand awareness, for people to know what your brand stands for people to understand what your brand is meant, what the ingredients in your brand are, so that they can keep you in mind when they're actually making the purchase. That's why marketing is one of the most important component. And to your point, if you market well, if there is brand equity, you don't need to do a lot of selling then after the fact. So marketing is in a way where you are trying to build brand loyalty, you're trying to build brand equity so that you can be picked up without having to go through any other motions, basically. And the second is marketing is important because I think, Malti, you made the point. You may want to try something different. You're tired of doing the same thing. So you want to do marketing so that people can actually think about you when they're in the store and they say, yeah, I saw the advertisement for Pepsi, but I think I want to try Coke as well. Their ad was very good when I saw it the last time. I'm going to give it a shot. So let me switch to a different brand, try a different brand. So marketing is very important so that you also build awareness with people saying, I also exist. So in a nutshell, though, it's really about talking about your brand, talking about the values of your brand, talking about the values of your company, talking about the whole story about your brand. And that's why you want people to actually believe in your brand and you want them to actually stay loyal to you as well. So I'm going to just do a little bit of a trivia here. Can anybody tell me what is this product?
Bisleri?
Bisleri. Any other?
Water.
Water. Yeah. So ideally, this is mineral water. This product is mineral water. But what happens in India or in most places, Bisleri is a name synonymous with mineral water. And I think, Smita, you were right in identifying this is a Bisleri bottle, right? But whenever we wanted mineral water, we never asked for mineral water. We never went and asked the storekeeper to give us mineral water. We always said, give me a Bisleri. So that is the brand recall. That is the brand awareness. And that is what marketeers are spending all this millions and millions of dollars for, right? When the category becomes synonymous with the brand name, that's utopia. Now, we could very well have asked for Bisleri and he could have given us a Kinley bottle and we would have walked away with it. But really, the fact that, the thought that comes to your mind when you talk brand is Bisleri or product is Bisleri, that in itself is a great win for a brand like Bisleri. Another example here for you.
Colgate.
Colgate. Toothpaste, Colgate. We never went and said toothpaste. We always said Colgate.
Colgate.
That's the brand recall. That's the brand equity that the marketeers and the companies vie for, right? And that's why they're doing all the efforts behind trying to market products. Fantastic. So we chug along here. We move along here. So we have seen evolution in the landscape of how we purchase, how we buy. And this poses a lot of challenge for manufacturers in keeping consumers hooked on to their products as well. So Bisleri, the example previously, like I said, I could mean mineral water. There are multiple types of mineral water available now, multiple brands available now. I would go and tell him, give me Bisleri. Sometimes I mean I want Bisleri and I only want Bisleri. But sometimes I only mean I want mineral water, right? But I could be handed any other alternative and I'll walk away with that as well. So we are in a very ever-changing landscape where now the power is really in the hands of the shopper and the consumer to choose what they want to buy. And hence it becomes even more important for us to be able to appeal to them in a manner that they make us the choice. How many of us remember this store format? Now this store format is actually called traditional trade. And what happens in the store format is there is a guy who's sitting behind the counter. You cannot pick up any product because none of the products are within your reach. You just walk up to him and you tell him, I want this, I want this, I want this. And he has someone in the store who runs around and brings all that back to you. I'm guessing all of us have experienced this. Where we evolve from here is this. This is the new DMart. This is the new modern trade store. When you walk into a store like this, you get to see a lot more products on the shelf than what you could see in the traditional store. Because the traditional store has limited space. He will keep limited fast-moving products. But the moment you go into a bigger format where there's a huge aisle which has got a portion which is dedicated only to toothpaste, now you can see 10 varieties of toothpaste there of the same company and of other companies as well. And what you get to see here at the same time is, what is the price? Is someone else offering a discount? So now the power is in my hand really to turn around and say, what do I want to pick from here? I have the whole choice to say, what do I want? What do I want to pick up? What makes value for money for me? What do I walk away from the store? And even worse, where we are now is a world of convenience, where you don't even go into the store anymore. You're doing everything on your laptop or your tablet or your phones. And you're basically just ordering products online and you don't even move a muscle to go and get the product, right? So this is the evangelization of the trade formats that have happened and how we shop that has changed, right? And the last portion, e-commerce as a category or as a way of life has leapfrogged 5 years due to the pandemic. The estimation was the penetration that we have with e-commerce today would be 5 years out, if not for the pandemic. And now Many of us have chosen that to be a way of life. We are not necessarily going back to the store format anymore because we like the convenience of being able to order online and then consume our products and someone brings it to us. And that's the convenience quotient that plays a role now. How many of us still watch the television? Television is passe, and companies used to spend a lot of money on TV advertising. But how many eyeballs are we getting now? How many people are actually sitting and watching television? That standards have changed completely as well. Now, there is less television, more OTT. And now OTT, you have so many channels on OTT. You have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you have Sony, you have all the traditional TV channels that are going on to the online platform as well. So basically, a consumer now is consuming information, not through television, which used to be the traditional mode. Television, radio, newspapers used to be the traditional mode. We have moved away from that, and everything is consumed through a technology medium now, which is through your phones, through your tablets, through your laptops, through your desktops. That's where we're consuming all information now. So now what happens in this environment is it really changes the change in the consumer behavior warrants new ways of marketing as well. What you see to your left is traditional marketing. In traditional marketing, we used to do TV advertising. We used to do newspaper advertising. You see a little leaflet that will still come to you with your newspaper. We used to do coupon advertising. We used to do billboards. When you drive, you would see on the highways, huge billboards that would do advertising as well. And then you would hear radio advertisements as well. That is very generic advertising. Now, what has happened in the advent of all technology is we are moving to a lot of digital marketing. And I think, Vijayaji, you spoke about this at the start, right? You just have to do one search on Google. And the next thing you know is Google has flooded you with information around the same theme that you had searched. If you search 5 things on Google, you're led on to 5 or 10 different things now through the same platform. So now what happens is we have the ability to approach our consumers very differently. We can do more targeted marketing. We can actually get directly. And what you see in Google or in Amazon or in Netflix, when you watch a movie, it gives you a recommendation of 5 other movies, is targeted marketing. It's basically collecting all your information, all your likes and dislikes, and it's recommending to you, you watch this, you may like this. You bought this, you may like this. So now, in a way, it's steering you to make a purchase, whether you really need it or not, because you'll click on it and then you'll want to indulge because you think you like it and you will buy it. Now, originally, if you were in a store, you may have thought about it. You may not have seen that product because it's not directed towards you. You may have walked away. But with digital marketing, you're actually getting very targeted messages. It's a very personalized message that you're getting. What I see is very different from what you would see. I will see things that are tailored to my interest, that are tailored to my taste, that are tailored to my age group as well. What you will see is very different, which is going to suit your needs. So that's the shift that is happening when it comes to how we market today as well. So wherever we go, we leave footprint. We leave a lot of information that gets collected, and that forms the foundation for all the analysis that happens, and it gets thrown back at us in ways that I just spoke about previously. When you're in the store and you check out, there is a checkout counter, that's called point of sales data. There is no personal information recorded here, but any company can know on a given day, how much am I selling? What SKU am I selling? What price point am I selling at? And not just for me, I will know this information for my competition as well. So there are companies that collect this data, that cleanse this data, and they sell it back to manufacturers so they can use this for strategic decision making. The second part of it is consumer data. All of this stuff that we have on Twitter, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on Facebook is all data that we leave out there, which gets synthesized, which gets collected, and it's used back to derive strategic insights from it. And the last part is surveys. They don't go away. We do a lot of focus groups with our consumers. We talk to them through different mediums. It's just that we don't do the hand paper thing anymore. We basically do this via surveys, online methods, wherein we are essentially asking them to give feedback on products or give their thoughts on advertisement. All of that data gets collected as well. That forms the foundation for data analytics for us here. Now, when we look at all of this data, I like to reflect on one adage, which is garbage in, garbage out. Data comes with a lot of noise. So here is where the science part really starts, right? The first part is to use very, very simple techniques, simple statistics to clean up your data, to make sure you remove the outliers from the data. And then comes the part where you harmonize the data. So like we have product warehouses, we have data warehouses now, where we have the ability to store millions and millions of records of data that will help us parse through that data at varying point in time. So we can derive insights from that information and reuse what we learn to impact our future strategies as well. Once we get to the part of integration, which is trying to merge different sources of data, put it into a warehouse, that's where the magic really starts happening. You can do reporting with it, which is really trying to chart the data, get some understanding of where your sales are going, where your revenue is going. You can do deep analysis. You can go into a market level, into a zone level and understand, what am I doing? What is my competition doing? What do I need to do to beat competition in this space? And then you can visualize your data, wherein you can do simulations and you can understand what happens if I do a pricing action. What do I stand to gain? What do I stand to lose? And so on and so forth. So data is a very, very integral part of our lives today. And we are providing a lot of data to manufacturers that they use to bring it back to us in shape and form. That is to drive growth for them. That's to fuel growth for them. So what does this analysis help with, right? One is the market intelligence, like I just spoke about. This is going to help you with understanding what are the marketplace trends, what is the consumer behavior, what are people doing in this market, and you can take real-time action in the market. I'm putting in a promotion for ruffle lace for 10 for 10, and it's not working. I'm going to quickly move it to something else. That's what you can do with the market intelligence. The consumer intelligence is the space where we are taking all the data from the web and we are bringing that inside, and we're trying to understand what are our consumers talking about? What are the consumers thinking about our products? Is there a red flag? Is there something that we need to care for? Is the packaging not good? Is someone talking about A? What do I need to do? And feed this back into the organization so they can really rejig their portfolio. Think of an example where sugar, suddenly you say health and wellness is a new trend. With health and wellness being a new trend, low sugar or no sugar is the way to go. What does that mean? I consume soda every day, and suddenly now I'm going on a health fad and I'm saying, I don't want to do sugar anymore. Now, as a manufacturer, I'd hate to lose Priya as a consumer. I'd want Priya in my portfolio. So what do I need to do? I need to make sure that I understand what Priya requires and make sure that my portfolio offers her what I require, what she requires, so that she can continue to be a part of the franchise. She can continue to be a part of the family, and she can continue her loyalty to the mother brand, if you will, right? What you see in bucket 1 and 2 is what companies have been doing all along. And this is where we did not have the technology, we did not have the systems to store a lot of data, synthesize a lot of data, but technology has advanced significantly. And now we have the ability to store millions of records. We have supercomputers, we have machine learning, we have data science, we have artificial intelligence. All of this now helps us actually look a bit into the future. Now, thinking of the COVID pandemic, nobody could have predicted the pandemic necessarily. But what the companies could do was use all the past information, do quick simulations, understand the current scenario, overlay the macroeconomic factors, and start projecting a little bit out in the future so that they can help their manufacturing strategy. They can figure out where the consumer is going to be and how do we shift our strategies to meet the consumer at a place where it's going to work for them. That's called predictive intelligence. That is what they're calling foresight of today. So the first bucket is really about hindsight. Whatever has happened, understanding what's happened, moving on with it. The consumer is giving us a lot of insight. And the predictive part is really where we are getting into this area of foresight. Can we actually get into the future? Can we try and understand what behavioral changes are going to happen? What shifts are going to happen? And how can we go back and reshift our portfolio according to that? So deep science, machine learning, these kind of algorithms are used to do things like forecast category growth. Where is the category going to move? What is the future of carbonated soft drinks? What are consumers thinking about? And what do we think will be the future of carbonated soft drinks? What are some of the macro trends? What is our competition doing? What is Coke, which is our largest competitor, doing in this space? Take all of that, put it into a model, run statistical analysis, and then project out 2 years from now, what am I looking at? 5 years from now, what am I looking at? And keep doing that with all new sources of data that keep coming and periodic data that keeps coming, so that you can keep checking where you are going and where the category is going. Think of new future trends, right? How do I know what is the next product that I need to put on shelf? Companies have to continuously innovate, but how do I know what do I put out on shelf? We are trying to read all the information that is out there, what consumers are talking about. And this is all informal conversations, right? This is not about reaching out to them and asking, what new flavor would you like for us to introduce in a snack category? So this is really going out there, informal conversations, informal posts that people are doing, take all that in, try and analyze that data and come back with what is the new flavor I want to introduce in Thailand, for example. Or what is the new ingredient that I want to put in my next product, basically? Or what is a new consumption occasion altogether? We have created all these consumption occasion. Party is the theme for products like PepsiCo, where you have soda, where you have chips. Party is the theme. But is there a different theme that we can try and create? So this is where we predict future trends, and we try and move our products and our strategies in that direction. Companies make a lot of investment in TV advertising. TV advertising by far has been the largest investment that we make in terms of trying to build brand awareness. But what does TV do for us? There is no tangible way to measure whether TV advertising led you to a point of purchase or not. But we continue to measure TV ad performance. We continue to measure what time slots work. So the price can be optimized if you do different time slots. So targeted segmentation. If I'm doing an advertisement for a child product, who do I want to advertise this to? I want to advertise it to the mother. I want to advertise it to the mother. What's the time zone that works best? Where is she watching television? I can't put it at 8 to 9, which is when the male of the household is watching television. I really want it to be when she's watching the television. So a lot of analysis around that space. We build regression models in this area to try and understand the impact of variable factors and how it impacts sales in the process as well. And last but not the least, what is the price value proposition? What should our daily price be? When a consumer walks into a store, what should our daily price look like? What should our promotional price look like? What products should I have on promotion? What products do I don't need to have on promotion? And very important component, what is the sweet spot, which is the gap to competition? Where do I need to sit with when it comes to my competition? How much can I take price where the loyalist that I have or the consumer or the shopper that I have will not move to competition? If I change it by a rupee or more, they might be like, this is too expensive for me. Let me go and take another product. So what is the optimal gap to maintain to competition as well? This is all the kind of work that we do in the area of price elasticity analysis and understanding our price value proposition. And to summarize, science is used truly to understand consumer sentiments. What is the consumer thinking? What does the consumer want? So the role of science is really to bring in the outside in and drive consumer centricity by leveraging advanced methodologies, advanced analysis that will help companies fuel decision to accelerate growth for themselves. So that's my last slide for you today. And I hope it was insightful enough for you to get you a flavor for what marketing is and what do we do in the space of marketing. I'd love to open it up for questions now.